Um, I've got two questions, just two quick questions to Hope. Hope, there's an audio that circulated a few weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and in that audio, you were talking to a former Zanla comrade, and this man by the name Comrade Bruce, and he's a ZANPF. Are you sure that you are not working with ZANPF? And at the same time, because I was listening to what you were talking about, the million voters registration, and in that audio, it's actually resonate on what you have just said a few minutes ago on this platform. Are you not a ZANPF project working with Nelson Chamisa? At the same time, we are working with intelligence officers in Zimbabwe. Then, my last question. Opochimon, I think it's really important the way you're fighting corruption and the way you're saying you're fighting accountability. At one point, there was a CC platform which was opened to accountable for the bulletproof vehicle man. You came to that platform and you stopped that platform to ask where the man is, where the man for bulletproof is. How sincere are you when it comes to accountability? Is it about accountability on the government, or is it accountability to the so-called government in waiting? Thank you so much, my brother Nyabonga Kakulu. My sister Linjan.
Thank you so much, sir, for that question this morning. Let me take one last more before I go back to Opal. Tindafa, yeah, please do go ahead with your question contribution.
So mine is not a question, basically, it's just a contribution. I think maybe those who are close to Chamisa can probably advise him. I think the stance which I have seen he has taken is he doesn't care about campaigning like what Wopwell is mentioning. He doesn't care about organizing people. To him, he's saying people have suffered enough. That's why he say every time he say, "What are you doing?" His response is, "And you, your side, what are you doing?" So he doesn't care about the organizing anyone. To him, he's just waiting and see people should suffer, and the more they will suffer more, the more they are going to, the more they are going to vote for me. So to him, he doesn't care about campaigning. That's what actually I've derived from all this. He doesn't care about anything. He just say people have no alternative. They don't want ZANPF. So the only option which is left is me. I think that's one my contribution, which also I've seen Fadzai Mahere has adopted. She doesn't care about anything. She'll tell you if you ask, or like what Wopo have been saying, like, are you guys telling people this, like there's corruption which is happening? She'll tell you we have done it before. So to them, I think they'll say we have to run all the rest and we are done. Well, now you guys have to vote for us. They don't care about anything, basically. I think that's it from my side.
All right. Thank you so much, Tindafa. Thank you so much, Tafi, and everybody else who contributed and asked questions. We will now give the platform to Hopewell to respond for the questions that have been tabled so far.
Thank you very much. I'll start with the bullet car question. The bullet car question and its relatedness to corruption. I happen to know the process of what happened. Zimbabweans across the landscape in Zimbabwe and beyond contributed money towards the buying of a bullet car for Nelson Chamisa after his car had been hit by what was supposedly a gun, and it was attacked again in Masvingo. The ZANU-PF side, the supporters, like the guy who has just spoken, started accusing Triple C and Nelson Chamisa of failing to account. They were saying, where is the car? We want to see where the car is. I will not go into the politics of it, but the fact of the matter is, and I've said this before, when you open a GoFund account and it is directly linked to something in Zimbabwe, due to the sanctions law, they have to investigate to make sure that this money is not being used by people who are sanctioned and that it's not being used for other things. So to start with, I'll give you information that has not been in the public domain. so that as citizens you understand. There were people that were phoning, not phoning, writing to GoFund and saying that this money that is being raised is to buy a military vehicle, is for terrorism. And GoFund had a legitimate reason to not to release that money, on the basis that they've received information that it's a military vehicle. It was being called a military vehicle because it's an armored car. It's meant to protect you from bullets, and they called it a military car. And because of the sanctions rule, which I've talked about so many times, they have a legitimate, even if you're raising $2,000 to pay school fees for job scholars children, we go through the process where we have to give them satisfaction that we are not breaking the sanctions rules. So that was the issue. It had nothing to do with stopping people from being accountable. It's just that people were being deliberately political about something that had nothing to do with corruption, and there's no reason for anybody to be corrupt in that sense, because that money was not being raised by Nelson Chamisa or Triple C. It was a group of citizens who decided that they wanted to raise that money. And the other question that he asked about the audio, I don't answer propaganda stuff. That was a doctored CIO audio that was put in by CIO, and I made it publicly. I made the pronouncement publicly that it's a doctored audio, so I won't be responding to that. As for working with Zanu PF, I talk to Zanu PF. I don't hide this. I would not be able to expose the kind of corruption that I do if I was not talking to Zanu PF. There are some good people in Zanu PF who want a better Zimbabwe, and there are some good people as well in other political parties. I talk to everyone. I'm a journalist. I talk to CIO. I talk to people in the military. I talk to cabinet ministers. When I exposed the COVID looting of public funds, you saw that there were some documents that were signed by the vice president. They were public documents. That's why I was able to put them out there. These documents they came from people within ZANU-PF. So I talk to everybody. I'm a journalist.